Welcome, fellow seekers of the unexplained, to Black Pine Tales. Tonight, we delve into one of the most chilling and meticulously documented paranormal cases in American history. The story of Barney and Betty Hill, an ordinary couple, a late-night drive through the dark forests of New Hampshire, and an encounter that would challenge their reality and haunt them for the rest of their lives. Barney and Betty Hill were not people who sought attention or believed in flying saucers. Barney, born July 20th, 1922, was a World War II veteran and postal worker known for his steady disposition. Betty, born Eunice Barrett on June 28, 1919, worked as a social worker and was deeply involved in civil rights activism through the NAACP. As they drove south on Route 3 near Lancaster around 10:30 p.m., Betty noticed something peculiar in the night sky. A bright, multicolored object was moving erratically near the moon and Jupiter. At first, she thought it might be a satellite or a plane, but its movements were unlike anything she had ever witnessed. Sudden stops, sharp turns, and changes in color that defied explanation. The object's bizarre behavior became so compelling that Barney pulled the car over near Indian Head. He got out, taking a pair of binoculars to get a better look. Standing by their 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air on the deserted road, he raised the binoculars to his eyes, hoping for a rational explanation. What he saw through those lenses would haunt him for the rest of his life and change everything they thought they knew about the universe. Terrified by what he saw, Barney rushed back to the car, shouting at Betty that they were being watched by figures inside the craft. As he started the engine, the object descended rapidly, coming to hover directly above their car. So close that Barney later estimated it was only 80 to 100 feet above them. The craft emitted a series of sharp, beeping sounds that seemed to penetrate the vehicle's interior, creating a sense of impending dread. Then came the most inexplicable part of their experience, the phenomenon investigators would later call missing time. As the craft hovered above them emitting its strange sounds, both Barney and Betty experienced a sudden daze, a mental fog that seemed to envelope their consciousness. Their memories became fragmented, and when they next became fully aware of their surroundings, they found themselves driving near Concord, with several hours unaccounted for, and no memory of what had transpired. When they finally arrived home in Portsmouth early the next morning, both Barney and Betty were deeply disturbed. They discovered strange physical evidence that something unnatural had occurred during their missing hours. Barney's binocular straps were mysteriously torn as if with great force, and peculiar pinkish powder was found on Betty's dress. Most unsettling was their car's compass, which began spinning erratically when placed near strange shiny spots that had appeared on the vehicle's trunk. Troubled by their experience and the unsettling physical evidence, the Hills decided they needed professional help. On October 21st, 1961, they met with Walter N. Webb, an investigator from the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena. During a 6-hour interview, Webb was struck by their sincerity and the remarkable consistency of their accounts. Despite their clear distress about the missing time and strange memories. In the weeks following the encounter, Betty began experiencing vivid, terrifying dreams that seemed more like recovered memories than fantasies. She dreamt of being taken aboard a strange craft by humanoid beings who performed medical examinations on her. These dreams were so intense and detailed that she started keeping a dream journal, documenting experiences that later aligned remarkably with what Barney would recall under hypnosis. The persistent dreams, the missing time, and the physical evidence continued to torment the Hills. They initially approached Captain Ben H. Sweat of the U.S. Air Force in November 1962, seeking hypnosis to recover their memories, but he cautioned them against amateur hypnotists. Finally, in early 1964, they decided to work with Dr. Benjamin Simon, a respected Boston psychiatrist and hypnosis expert, hoping to finally uncover the truth about what happened during those missing hours. On February 22, 1964, Barney Hill underwent his first hypnosis session with Dr. Simon. What emerged was chilling. Under hypnosis, Barney recalled the craft descending and humanoid figures emerging, beings with large, wraparound eyes and glossy black uniforms. He described one figure, communicating with him mentally, warning him to stay put. Most terrifying was his description of being taken aboard the craft against his will, a memory so distressing that Dr. Simon had to carefully guide him through the trauma. Betty underwent her own hypnosis sessions shortly after Barney, completing them on February 24, 1964. Her memories aligned remarkably with Barney's, but she recalled additional chilling details. She remembered being shown a star map by one of the beings, a three-dimensional chart that showed trade routes between stars. The being explained that this map represented their home system and the routes they traveled, information that would later become crucial to the investigation. After her hypnosis session, Betty sat down with paper and pencil and meticulously reproduced the star map she had seen aboard the craft. The drawing showed a complex pattern of stars connected by lines, with one particular binary star system prominently featured. This hand-drawn map would become one of the most controversial pieces of evidence in UFO research history. A detailed celestial chart supposedly provided by extraterrestrial beings. Several years later, amateur astronomer Marjorie Fish came across Betty Hill's star map in published accounts of the case. Intrigued by its specificity, she decided to conduct a serious astronomical analysis using beads and strings. Fish created an elaborate three-dimensional model of nearby star systems, attempting to match the pattern Betty had drawn from memory under hypnosis. After years of meticulous work, comparing star positions and distances, Marjorie Fish made a stunning discovery. Betty Hill's star map appeared to match the Zeta Reticuli binary star system when viewed from that perspective. The pattern of stars and the emphasized trade routes corresponded remarkably well with actual stellar positions, suggesting that if the map was authentic, it pointed to a specific origin for the beings the Hills encountered. Not everyone was convinced by Fish's analysis. Prominent astronomers and skeptics raised significant objections. They pointed out that with thousands of stars in our galactic neighborhood, some pattern matching was statistically likely. Figures like Carl Sagan and Stephen Soter argued that the map could match multiple configurations depending on interpretation, and that the human tendency to find patterns in randomness explained the apparent correlation. September 1966, journalist John G. Fuller published The Interrupted Journey, a detailed account of the Hills experience that became a national bestseller. The book brought the story to millions of readers and established the template for alien abduction narratives that would follow. It included Betty's star map and detailed transcripts of the hypnosis sessions, creating both fascination and controversy in equal measure. As the story gained popularity, skeptical explanations emerged from researchers like Jim McDonald and Robert Schieffer. They pointed to alternative theories, noting that the Hills had likely seen a stationary aircraft beacon light that could appear to move erratically due to autokinesis. A visual illusion where a stationary light appears to move when stared at for extended periods. Sleep deprivation from their long drive and stress from being an interracial couple traveling at night in 1961 were also cited as contributing factors. Skeptics noted intriguing parallels with contemporary television science fiction. Just 2 weeks before the Hills experience, an episode of The Twilight Zone aired featuring a similar scenario of a couple encountering a UFO. Researchers suggested that such media influences, combined with the stress of their situation, could have shaped the details that emerged under hypnosis, creating a compelling but false narrative that felt real to the Hills. Regardless of the explanation, the psychological impact on Barney and Betty Hill was profound and lasting. They became reluctant celebrities, sought out by researchers, skeptics, and believers alike. The experience fundamentally changed their lives, creating a burden they carried until their deaths. Barney in 1969, and Betty in 2004. Their story became larger than themselves, a cultural touchstone in the discussion of extraterrestrial life and human perception. In 2011, the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources erected a historical marker at the site of the alleged encounter near Indian Head. The marker acknowledges the Hills experience as a significant event in American cultural history, regardless of one's interpretation of what actually occurred that night. It stands as a testament to how a single strange event on a dark road can captivate a nation and inspire decades of investigation and debate. Today, psychologists understand more about how memory works under stress, and how hypnosis can create false memories that feel utterly real. Meanwhile, astronomers continue to discover exoplanets around nearby stars, including in the Zeta Reticuli system, keeping the mystery alive. The Hill case remains a foundational text in ufology, a case study in perception, memory, and the human need to explain the inexplicable. The core mystery remains the phenomenon of missing time. How could two rational, credible people lose several hours of memory? This challenges us to question not just what might be out there in the cosmos, but what's happening inside our own minds under extreme stress. The Hill case forces us to confront the limits of human perception and the mysterious ways trauma can affect memory recall. The Barney and Betty Hill case has inspired countless books, films, television movies, comics, and ongoing media coverage. Their story established the template for alien abduction narratives that would follow, influencing how we imagine contact with extraterrestrial beings. From the 1975 television film, starring James Earl Jones, to modern podcasts and planned feature films, their experience continues to resonate through popular culture. What makes this case enduringly compelling is that it resists easy explanation. The Hills were credible witnesses. Their stories remained remarkably consistent over years, and the physical evidence, while ambiguous, was present. Whether one believes they encountered extraterrestrial beings or experienced a perfect storm of psychological phenomena, their story forces us to confront the boundaries between perception and reality, memory and truth. The story of Barney and Betty Hill remains one of history's most haunting mysteries, a case that continues to challenge investigators and captivate the public imagination. Whether you believe they encountered visitors from another star system, or experienced the limits of human perception under duress. Their story represents a fundamental human quest, the search for understanding in a universe full of mysteries. What do you think really happened on that dark New Hampshire road? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this exploration of one of America's most compelling paranormal cases fascinating, please like this video, subscribe to Black Pine Tales, and share it with fellow mystery enthusiasts. The search for truth continues.